Hey, folks, that's right. This is your man back again. Dolphins AD Moore, top of NRG Stadium. Today, Houston Texans played to the played a competitor and really treated them like the team that they are. And that's not trying to be disrespectful to them at all. It's just the fact that the Arizona Cardinals are not a good football team right now. And the Texans, after having been on the road the last couple of weeks, actually come back in here today. And within 49 seconds of the first quarter, opening drive, Arizona Cardinals won the toss, deferred, kicked off to the Texans. 49 seconds later, after the kickoff, Texans in the end zone hit the Nico Collins on a 57-yard bomb. Texans are off and running, 7-zip. Then they got a field goal. Houston Texans today basically destroyed. No, they whooped the Arizona Cardinals today, 40-20. And the score is very much indicative of the butt kicking that the Texans administered to the Arizona Cardinals today. Cardinals had issues. They had injuries and so forth. So did the Texans. So that the Texans, they had to deal with injuries today. Nick Chubb didn't even start today. So the whole running game fell to Woody Marks today. But Woody Marks is not the story today. In fact, this is, if you could call it a radio algae story, rags to riches. This situation, I'm telling you, it's and my hat goes off. This young man, Jawad Jordan, came off the practice squad today, and he set a Texans record for a debut game for a player. 15 carries, 101 yards, 6.7 yards carry. Yeah, he had and understanding how yards and statistics and trying to with the numbers being what they are today. But this young man, after Winnie Marks went down, and he could have come back in per the coach D'Amico Ryans, but Texas didn't need him. It really didn't. The offensive line is starting to really become a unit. Now, that doesn't say next week the Los Angeles Raiders won't come in here and just make them look like they couldn't spell football. And if you spotted them, the F, the T, and the A, and the LL. But as of today, as of right now, the Houston Texans and their offensive line, and it's a work in progress. Don't by no stretch of the imagination are they a juggernaut from that offensive line standpoint. But and that's why we're going to talk to Ed Ingram in a little bit, because the conversation I had with Ed Ingram about the unit and what happened. But anyway, today the Houston Texans, and this is a story. This is a commentary that, as I'm talking to the rest of my colleagues, we have been used to up until today, and this is not a shot at the Houston Texans defense. They basically just was sort of like hall monitors today instead of just disciplinarians. And I say that from a discipline, working in a school environment. They were sort of like the hall monitors. They just to make sure the Arizona Cardinals did not get out of hand, did not just sort of disbehave. And when they tried to disbehave, they sort of went like put them back in line. But the Houston Texans offense today came out quick, fast, and in a hurry. As I stated in my opening, 49 minutes within to the first quarter, Texas, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, he hit Nico Collins 57 yards. And from that point, the Texans were pitching a shutout after the first quarter. But needless to say, I don't care who you are. I don't care how bad a team is in the National Football League. Texans only have one shutout, and that was against the Tennessee Titans earlier. And the fact that it was 10-0 at the end of the first quarter, and so they were able to take that momentum again. They left. I felt like, in my humble opinion, and anybody knows me, I'm not that humble. At least when we start, breaking down this game and getting into the nuances of it. The Texans, as I stated, the offensive line, the whole offensive line, still a work in progress. It's a better work in progress right now. And so they were able to, CJ Stroud, I think at best, and I was, keeping up with looking at my notes during the game. I don't think CJ Stroud had four pressures from the Arizona. I was about to say Carolina, and I almost about to say the St. Louis Cardinals. I guess I'm showing my age, but anyway, the Arizona Cardinals today did not really get a whole lot of pressure on CJ Stroud, thanks to that offensive line today, and thanks to the protection that they gave him. The whole, there were penalties and everything, but really, for the most part, the Texans went out there and pretty well played a pretty well efficient ball game. Offensive perspective, the defense did not have to reach down there and grab somebody by the jugular and just try to squeeze the life out of them and just constrict them to a certain degree. The defense, as I was alluding to earlier, I was talking to some of my colleagues as the game was going on, we sort of looked at one another, and it was Kim Davis, and we were sort of going like, you were sort of going like, the defense played today, but they played but did not have to play to the point that it was like fine. We come out fine on all cylinders. There was some. They got the. They got some sacks today. Danielle Hunter continue his chop, as he like to explain. We chop wood today. Yeah, he chopped wood today. 2 sacks. Danielle Hunter got his. Nico Autry got him a sack today. Kamari Lassiter is continuing his Kamari Lassiter is. I mean, you obviously you got an All-Pro and Derek Stingley on the other side of the field. And part of my notes, and I could be wrong, but part of my notes, I don't think Stingley only had 2 balls thrown inside the field for the whole day. Everybody kept going to the other side to Kamari Lassiter. And Kamari Lassiter is basically saying, "Okay, y'all gonna do that?" He picked up a interception in the end zone to shut down the Arizona Cardinal drive today. So you have to take it for what it's worth. The Texans defensive line in particular, their D tackles are really, to me, as Coach D'Amico Ryans has alluded to it in his post conference today, how they really are the sort of the glue, that engine that holds this team together. Because you got two bona fide Pro Bowl, first team starting Pro Bowl. And I know Myles Garrett out there for somebody wanted to. How about Myles Garrett? Hell, I'm well aware of what Myles Garrett is doing. He should have broke the record today. I need to go back and look at it. Myles Garrett could very well finish the season with 25 sacks or more. But I digress. We're here and there talking about the Houston Texans today and that offensive juggernaut that they displayed today. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that they probably left. Let's see. Kamey got 3 or 4 field goals today that probably should have been touchdowns. But you know what? The Texans the Cardinals got close in somebody's mind, but I don't think at no stretch of the imagination, particularly watching the Texans today, did they feel like they were threatened today, and they didn't. Like I say, they came out efficient, scored right off the bat. And they were off and running, and they kept running today. CJ Stroud connected with 9 different receivers today. Dalton Schultz was his security blanket today, even though Nico Collins had two touchdowns today. Dalton Schultz had a touchdown himself, but Schultz were targeted 9 times. He had eight receptions, and I say there was a wide distribution of the football today, as 9 different receivers that was on the end of CJ Stroud passes today. At the end of the day, CJ was 22 or 29, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no INTs, and really, as I mentioned earlier, I can't think of a whole lot of maybe 3 pressures at best. I know, and I'm double checking. Yeah, they did get 1 sack on him today. And but that was pretty much that was it. That was the pressure and the sack. But for the most part, CJ was very proficient and effective and efficient with the ball today. Uh, there are obvious things that the Texans going to clean up and going to have to continue to clean up, and still as they've been trying to get back at least win the AFC South and trying to get themselves in position, because as things shake out, we know that they won't have to worry about going to Kansas City this year because the Chiefs lost today. So that they're pretty well done for the season. That long run of the Kansas City Chiefs dominating AFC West is now history. It'll be somebody else. It'll be another, more likely the Denver Broncos will be the conference winner out of the West. So that's where we are right now. Got a couple of clips I want to play, and I'm going to start with Ed Ingram, because as the offensive line has gotten a lot of criticism, and justifiably so, I think when they start to come around, and when they and the young man like Juwan Jordan today, how he was able to come in there and have his debut game. Texas on the average from a rushing standpoint was picking up 4.3 yards a carry. Folks, I'm gonna tell you something. If you grabbing 4 yards and pop on average, you're doing doggone good. And so Ed Ingram starting right guard, and what I want, to let's get hold of Ed right now and get his comments in here. There we go. Talk about expound on that a little bit, because the average person think y'all just go out there is mano and mano Bruce Smith, but it really is a lot more position, hand position, footwork. I mean, it really is a ballet out there with you guys.
It's very technical. Like as far as like tight zone, you got tight zone, wide zone, mid zone. Like there's different footwork and different like hand placement in every block. So it's like just focusing on like plays with our technique. So it's footwork, like having tighter footwork in tight zone and wide zone, setting our angle and like staying on that angle, and just being like fundamentally sound every play.
Ed Ingram today starting right guard. Texans today. Let me see. Let's go Texans. Let's go. From a fan perspective, I can say delayed, denied. Yeah, it didn't look like that at the beginning of the year, but I'm pretty sure as fans, you stay in there with your team. So obviously, you're glad to see your team continue to prosper and everything. So that's a good thing. And it's interesting today. One of my colleagues was mentioning the fact that he thought more of Texans fans might be inside. Well, I tell you what, as I was explaining to him, with the amount of money you fans have to pay for your tickets, and really you have to almost take out a second mortgage for your parking spots in these respective parking areas around NRG. I can understand why some of y'all come together with your consortium and with your tailgating group, because it's fun out there. I've had the pleasure of being out there with you all, and so I clearly understand. But for the amount of money you're paying, and I'm pretty and most everybody out there got big screen TVs out there, rather sit out there and watch the game on the big screen and have your special libations. So I can understand that. Plus the fact that you control the price of your libations by being there, as opposed to, and we understand that NRG is a for-profit center, and they are very much a for-profit center. So I loathe to sit up and hear other folks say, well, a Texas fan out there, I don't know. I'm not putting my hands in your pocket and trying to tell you what you need to do with your disposable income, because I know you work hard for your disposable income. And so for that fact, I want to sit out there, and it's chilly today. It's chilly out there now. In fact, I will have my skull cap on when I wrap this up and walk out to the parking lot this afternoon and head my way home. But the thing about it, it's got football weather, folks. It's chilly, and I was mentioning to a couple of colleagues earlier during D'Amico's post game where the possibility the Texans might happen to wind up going. And somebody mentioned Buffalo, and I won and I've been to Buffalo, but I was in Buffalo in October a couple of years ago. Having to have to go back to Buffalo for a ball game this time of the year, I ain't looking forward to it. I'm almost willing to want to go fly to Toronto and watch the game in Toronto in a hotel because, and I mentioned I almost thought about trying to drive from Toronto back to Buffalo, New York, to Western New York, and I remember the in a high profile vehicle coming through the winds on those lakes, and that was almost like it was almost like my car was the wind was trying to actually lift the car from the road and I swore then I won't do this again. So I'm already mentally trying to put my head together because the Bills took out the Bills took out the Patriots today. So as things starting to shake out, we know that the Kansas City Chiefs are done. No, it's for real now. They won't make it. So and so that situation. So we got to start looking at where we might be, where the probability that the Texans are going to be playing. Hopefully, they get their first round during the wild card weekend. They have a home game, and then they're gonna have to hit the road for the next couple of weeks. And hopefully, they'll be at the AFC Championship game. Yeah, they could be in Denver, maybe. Or they could maybe be in Foxborough. Who knows? Never know. But we're going to find out. But anyway, an interesting situation came up today, and I've sort of been, somebody that I was accused of, am I trying to get D'Amico Ryans a letter from the NFL? Nope, I'm not. But you know what? The NFL has an officiating problem. And I know I'm probably getting super critical. I'm for one, I don't like to bash officials. I think they have a hard enough job. You got all the eyes and everything. But that was a situation that happened today that the officials said Blake Fisher did not report. And I clearly saw Blake Fisher walk up to the official and do this, saying, "Hey, I am eligible. Here, I'm coming in." And looking at the official, and then the play was run. And then all of a sudden, the NFL official today, Clete Blakeman, comes back on the announcer and said, been notified that he did not report as eligible. So we reverting back to the play. It's like, oh, it didn't happen. And I'm going like, okay, is this Groundhog Day? I mean, what you mean it didn't happen? You may not acknowledge the fact that it didn't happen, but it did happen. But anyway, and I asked D'Amico Ryans about that. No, I'm not trying to get D'Amico fired. I'm not trying to get, a fine from the NFL because the NFL is notorious for sending fines to folks. They love to pull money out these players' pocket. I know they're making a lot of money, but, the NFL, that's almost like some of their fines are almost like loan sharks. But anyway, let's comment. Let's get hold of D'Amico Ryans. My question to him. Could you please explain? I thought, at least from my perspective, maybe, and you had a closer view when they said Blake did not report as eligible. Because I thought I saw him walk up to Clete, do the motion, and they went through a whole play, and then also we come back and said number 57 did not report, and I'm sitting there trying to understand when did he not report? Because I saw him go up to him. Could you explain, or what did Clete tell you after the play?
Thank you for seeing that. Blake has done a great job of reporting every time that he's went into the game, and I think he does it every day in practice. He's looking back at me reporting, looking back when we do have a practice officials at the game in practice. He looks back at those guys. He makes sure he reports every single time. So not quite sure what happened there, but it's something we'll just look at and make sure we're on it every single time to make sure we're looking to receive the referee in the eye, making sure we have proper eye contact and making sure he sees that we're reporting.
All right, I'm getting D'Amico Ryans off the screen on this one. I've been known. I've been, I'm trying to, as somebody say, you trying to. The NFL is not going to come looking for me. They're going to go looking toward the coach. Well, guess what? Get your act together. Bottom line. I know you're going to make mistakes and everything, and I mean it's obvious for the last few weeks. I mean, I don't think. I mean, it's not that, and I know you. These are some of the quote unquote the best of the best. Well, okay, maybe, but nothing is 100%. Yeah, I know you guys are graded. I've a couple of my teammates that were referees and linesmen are now work in the NFL office that I played ball. My college teammates, both of them are now have been NFL officials and now are super NFL supervisors. So, and in fact, I hadn't seen either one of them in a while. But anyway, bottom line, and I know those guys work hard. They do their best to try to they try not to become the epicenter of the game. Their job is to officiate and try to make sure that they in fact not heard and not seen from. And the bottom line is to get the game rolling and keeping it moving. Well, and am I being a little bit antsy about it? Yeah, because I thought, clearly, when I look and see something and I know that the reporting, and this happened in the Detroit Lion game, I think a year ago, that well, 2 years ago, guys walk up and nobody said anything. And I know there's an emphasis. You hear the referee voice saying, number so and so report says eligible. And in this case, Blake Fisher reported as eligible. And clearly he didn't say it. And one of the colleagues said, and as soon as he reported, he said, Blake, 57 report is eligible. And I looked over at him and I was like, Blake, Cleek Blakeman didn't say it. And, play was ran, and I think the Texans had a big sizable game and all for naught. And it went back. And in fact, I'm trying to remember, they didn't even call a penalty, but they just say, "Oh, this play didn't happen because some so and so did not happen." No, NFL official screwed up. Bottom line, and you have to go by the officials are running the game, and you have to go by what transpires during that course of the event. So in this case, the Houston Texans had a do over, and they lost. I think about that was a big play. One of the Texans few many explosive plays today, and was called back. And so, yeah, it's a little irritating and I know I was not part of the NFL. I don't even know what was that might have been asked to the officials. Because for the most part, they were really not they were not really a part of the show except that. And am I being pissy about it? Probably, but it's the bottom line, and that it didn't cost anybody a ball game, and that's really what the bottom line goes. It did not cost the Texans a ball game, and the Arizona Cardinals can say, well, if the officials had it done, no, you clearly were not the ball, or not the team to come in here from to represent the Cardinals and would be able to come in today. Yeah, you had a lot of injuries and so forth. A lot of players injuries kept you from really being efficient today. Jacoby Brissett, solid backup quarterback. I remember when he was with the New England Patriots that I think he only threw the ball 19 times when in Foxborough, the Texans went up there with Jacoby Brissett because and under Bill Belichick, and Belichick able to squeeze a victory out of him with him on and throwing the ball 19 times. Brissett basically, and they defeated the Houston Texans. So that's hats off to Bill Belichick and how he can take certain things away from you or add to it, and how he'll defeat you, and how he'll take work his understand the nuances of the game and then squeeze the victory out of it. So hats off to that. But anyway, Jacoby Brissett, what I think is a competent competent quarterback, starting, and he, you know, basically the Texans a lot of pressure on them today and done a lot of different things. So uh, they didn't get the victory. They get to go back. So next Sunday, I'm happy about this as we get ready the week of Christmas week coming. The Texans, uh, Los Angeles Raiders, the Raiders come to town. 325 game, good because I can actually stay at church and with our children's program and everything, and enjoy the program, enjoy the service, and still be able to come to the stadium and get here early enough time and enjoy the game. So the Los Angeles Raiders. What did I say? Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders. It's been the Oakland Raiders. They've been. I mean, you cannot think of the silver and black without Gene Upshaw, Art Shell, you name it. That the Jim Otto, that whole and late John Madden, particularly who was highlighted during the Thanksgiving holiday, Thanksgiving games and everything. You can't think about the Raiders without thinking about all those guys, the late Cliff Branch and whatever, and all those guys, Willie Brown and that whole historic franchise will be coming to town. No, the Mad Bomber will not be there. In fact, I'm not even sure who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders. But anyway, next Sunday, the Los Angeles Raiders will come. Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna have to catch myself. The Las Vegas Raiders will be coming to town. Want to say they should be saying the Oakland Raiders because they were there for the longest, but they did lose. But anyway, the Vegas Raiders will be in town, and it'll be 325 late kick game, and I'm pretty sure fans will be good and lit by time because they've been able to see the early games and all the libations that they can consume between now and game time. It probably will be some folks maybe about passed out by the time the Texans get to the third quarter. Hopefully should game at hand well ahead. But anyway, final score again today. Your Houston Texans defeat the Arizona Cardinals 40-20. Efficient and effective game. The defense did not have to be they dominated, but were not overbearing today. They were efficient and effective, and the Texans really done to a team what they were supposed to do. They were. This team was not. This team was nowhere. Arizona Cardinals nowhere close. They got pieces there, but the Arizona Cardinals were nowhere close to being the caliber team that the Houston Texans are. And the Texans treated them like that. They treated them like they found somebody, like they came into your place and put their feet up on your couch. You know how walk in or put their feet up on your mama's coffee table or so forth, and you you go walk over there and slap the taste out their mouth for them, just disrespecting your house. So anyway, it made me laugh. Think about it. So anyway, the Texans. I don't necessarily think they walked and slapped the taste out of the mouth, but they were efficient and effective today. Again, final score 40-20. This is your man, the Dolphins, AD Moore, getting ready to sign off. Walk out into the cold, put my skull cap on my head, walk out there and face this little north wind. I think it's supposed to be a little chilly in the morning. Hey, folks, take care. We are in the holiday season. Just a word of warning to your families and everybody that's going to the shopping mall. Be cognizant, be careful of your surroundings. Do not get so engrossed in the season that you're not taking care of your surroundings. If you got packages, don't leave them in the car. Put them in your trunk. Make sure they're not visible. Be careful. Go in groups and watch yourself. Hey, folks, be kind to one another. Be respectful of one another. And look to see you next week. And it'll probably be, oh man, at a 325, it'll probably almost be maybe 7-ish. If not 7:30 before the corner comes on. But anyway, hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for looking. Delayed, not denied. Appreciate the comments a few minutes ago. I'm getting ready to get out of here and go face this north wind. And in the meantime, folks, ciao. This is your man, the Dolphins, AD Moore from NRG Stadium. As today, this afternoon, the Houston Texans defeated the Arizona Cardinals 40-20. Texans won their sixth game in a row, and they seem to have righted the wagon, and they're moving downhill, and the wind is in their sail. Folks, ciao, I'm out, and we are done. And don't forget, oh, by the way, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, it's the AD Max Korner channel. Also, AD Max Korner Instagram. It's going to be some additional thing. I got some cuts coming from Rankin, Sheldon Rankin today. I got some cuts will be out there from the post game. Also, will be out there from Kalen Bullock today, and a couple other things that I did not get on the show today, but they will be on the social media platform later, or if not later tonight or in the morning, as far as post game and like rankings and so forth that I mentioned. So anyway, folks, I'm out and going. Oh, by the way, FTP is coming up in about 28 minutes. Chris Gardner and the Groove will be on Folks Talking Sports. In the meantime, I'm gonna be AD walking out the building, and we are done. Ciao, folks. Be careful and be kind to one another. I'm done. We are gone.